Hi, I'm Ish Nazario, and we're coming to you from Cook's Place here in Columbus, Georgia. And today, this afternoon, we have the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Robert Edward Liebendorfer. Mr. Liebendorfer, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
That is great. That is great. Now, Mr. Liebendorfer was born December 24th, 1937, only 73 years ago. He was born in Elwood City, Pennsylvania, just north of Pittsburgh. Mr. Liebendorfer has one brother, Alan, has a sister, Lois, and something that a lot of us did not know, he has a twin sister, Joanne. His father was Roy Liebendorfer, and his mother, Mary Liebendorfer. Mr. Liebendorfer went to elementary school in Elwood City, Pennsylvania. And Mr. Liebendorfer, tell us what are some of your memories of your elementary school in Elwood.
I remember standing in line in the hard winters. We weren't allowed into the school until the principal gave us word. And to stand out there, freeze, and then watch that janitor go up and down with his shovel, shoveling for teachers, but we stood out in the cold. I remember that vividly.
Thank you, thank you. There's always certain things that we all remember about our elementary school or high school or college, either one. Now, in high school, we went to Lincoln High School, Lincoln High in Elwood City, Pennsylvania. And in one of my notes, it says, winter times were the worst because of the snow. Can you explain that?
I had a paper route. I started when I was about 10, was a helper for 3 years. That meant if there was an apartment taking the paper to the third floor, I took the paper up. And then of course when I was about 13, he turned the route over to me. And I took papers until I was 17, in all kinds of weather, but I remember the snow most vividly.
I see. You know, in those days, having a paper route and teaching my boys how to do a paper route, we used to take the paper to the doors. I put them right in front of the doors. Nowadays, you have to walk out to the end of your driveway, and luckily it'll be there.
We had to do the same thing for the elderly or for the infirm that had the mail slot in the door. We couldn't throw it up on the porch. We had to run up the stairs, put the paper in the mail slot.
That's good. You know, I remember those mail slots, but I don't remember doing that at all. I just strictly for mail. For mail. Now, in high school, there was one of your friends. He was a hunter, a good friend, a trapper, and he played a gag on the school in one of your classrooms. Something about he brought a dead skunk to your class. Tell us about that.
No, he didn't bring a dead skunk. He brought the glands of a skunk that he deglanded and asked if I would like to smell something. I didn't know what it was. He opened the lid. I gagged, almost vomited in fact, it was so strong. But it was long enough to pervade the whole room. He went down the hall a little later, opened it up evidently because it pervaded the school. I didn't want to squeal on him because I was afraid he would get expelled, so I just kept my mouth shut.
Oh, I'll tell you. You know, I've heard some dirty things, even at Baker High, but I think I've never heard one that nasty. Woo! My goodness. Okay, we're talking about high school still. In high school, what were your favorite subjects?
I suppose history, civics, government. They were always well taught. You could question, some discussion. But I really didn't like English because I would ask some questions. Robert, there's no reason to ask that, so I would learn to keep my mouth shut. So, it was a good time at Lincoln High School.
That's good. That's good. Now, Mr. Unlike some of the other athletes, school faculty that we've interviewed, Mr. Liebendorfer was involved in sports, but it was unusual. We're talking back in the 1940s. The only gymnastic he participated with was gymnastics. Tell us about that.
That was only in my freshman year. The Pittsburgh area never was well known for strong gymnastic teams. Our school was not well known for one either, but I was allowed to participate in my freshman year. But I had to stop it later on because I had the paper route, had snow responsibilities, had leaf responsibilities, had lawns to mow. So 10th, 11th, and 12th I was not in any school sport. I spent a lot of summers fishing. Maybe you remember in the olden days they would have, look like cargo pants. And in one pocket I would have my leader, my string, my hooks, my worms. In the other I'd have the knife, go fishing, bamboo pole about 10 foot long. And finally when I was about 13 I got my first rod and reel, and I was really big then.
Oh my goodness. Okay, your favorite teacher, you told me it was Mr. Omar Newton, your history teacher. Why?
He had not only a method that was unusual, but he had to make sure that we learned, and I was a receiver of some smacks and whacks across the shoulder because he noticed I wasn't as attentive as I should have been. One day a student thought I was too attentive, so he put his arm behind him, started to scream out, Mr. Newton, he has my arm, he has my arm. Mr. Newton immediately grabbed the paddle to come back to get me. I threw my arms up to show I didn't have his arm. He still smacked me.
Okay, now, Mr. Liebendorfer, we are limited on time, and right now a special moment is coming. So we're going to stop right here at this point, because I have a presentation for you. Mr. Liebendorfer, on behalf of all the Baker students, Baker High School, it is indeed my pleasure and honor to present to you this brick from Baker High School. Now, this brick is from the closest, the wing closest to Baker Village. That's where this brick comes from. And it states Baker High School, 1945 to 1994, Robert Liebendorfer, English teacher. And it is, I know you'll treasure this.
Indeed I shall.
I know you'll, see, he's already corrected me with his speed, my speed. But, you know, I know you're going to treasure this. And let me say something about this brick also. Many of you folks are still emailing me, which is okay, about where do you get your brick sculpture at. And there again, it is Larry and Cindy Cannon. It's in Phoenix City, Alabama. The address is 100B Brickyard Road, Phoenix City, Alabama. Their phone number is area code 334-291-7767. So if you have bricks and you can see the quality that they do and you want to have them sculpture, please give them a call. Larry or Cindy Cannon at 334-291-7767, or you can go to their website, bricksculpture.com, www.bricksculpture.com. Mr. Liebendorfer, we're going to stop this first segment right here. I know you're going to treasure this forever, and you know it's been a pleasure doing this first 9 minutes, so stick around with us, folks, because we have some more segments and it's going to be fun. Thank y'all.